You're upset.
So you don't care that I'm upset?
Who's upset?
So you just walk away from me?
Sorry, I thought you needed
I
to.
would not expect anything less than you wanting to go. So please let me know. Because I'm not playing that again.
Elise wakes up to an empty apartment and immediately feels the ground drop beneath her. Joshua isn't there. The texts she sent go unanswered and her mind races. Then she remembers he'd never mentioned living with Nat until the night before. That revelation hits her like a punch. Her stomach knots, her hands shake, and every assumption she's tried to suppress surfaces at once. Did he plan to keep this from her? Was she already being played? She can feel her pulse quicken as she scrolls through their messages looking for a clue. Any sign that she's not imagining the worst. Joshua returns hours later, calm and distant, like nothing has happened. He's clearly avoiding confrontation, but Elise isn't built that way. She needs answers now. Her emotions surge, a mix of fear, frustration, and disbelief. Every inch of her wants to demand the truth, to hear him admit what she already suspects. He shrinks back, trying to diffuse the intensity with silence, which only fuels her anxiety. The clash is immediate and electric. She craves clarity, he craves space. Her mind races with scenarios. Is he hiding something more than just living arrangements? Is Nat more involved than he admitted? Every unanswered question tightens the tension between them. Her fear of being blindsided collides with his unwillingness to engage, creating a fragile powder keg. The apartment feels smaller, their voices louder, and the trust they've built, or think they have, teeters on the edge. Will Joshua finally break and tell the truth, or will his avoidance push Elise further away? The first clash has set the stage, and nothing is resolved yet. Elise's hands are trembling as she rereads the message Joshua left, a simple "I'll be back soon" like XX. Nothing more, no context, no explanation, just a heart emoji that feels like a slap. Every word, every symbol spins her imagination faster. Her mind refuses to settle. The night before, he had dropped the bomb about living with Nat, a revelation she wasn't prepared for, and now every small thing seems loaded with hidden meaning. She starts piecing together his absence, his casual responses, the way he always dodges when she presses for details. Each fragment becomes a puzzle she's desperate to solve, but every answer she imagines only deepens her anxiety. The thing is, Elise isn't coming at this from nowhere. Her past screams at her with each suspicious thought. Years ago, she lost someone she loved deeply, someone she trusted completely, and the heartbreak left scars she can't ignore. That trauma isn't just history, it's a lens she carries into every relationship. Every omission, every vague message triggers a flood of memories and fear. She wants to trust Joshua, she really does, but the combination of her past and his current secrecy creates a storm she can't calm. She tells herself maybe it's nothing. Maybe she's overreacting, but her gut clenches anyway. She pictures him at Nat's apartment, just hanging out, laughing, keeping secrets she wasn't supposed to know about. And while her imagination races, the reality remains unseen. Is he really there? Or is she letting assumptions control her? That uncertainty gnaws at her, feeding her suspicion even as part of her knows it could all be innocent. Every text, every pause, every look he gives feels like proof of something hidden, and yet she has no evidence. Joshua finally returns, but the tension doesn't ease. His quiet demeanor, his calm avoidance, only makes her more frantic. He isn't giving her what she needs, clear answers and reassurance. Her mind questions everything he says, every excuse, every attempt to explain. Her anxiety isn't irrational, it's the echo of betrayal from the past, amplified by the mystery of the present. Is Joshua really at Nat's, or is Elise's imagination running wild again? Every second she waits for clarity pushes the relationship closer to a breaking point, and the answers she craves are still out of reach. Joshua walks in, shoulders tight, eyes scanning the room like he's bracing for impact, and Elise is already on edge. She doesn't wait, questions spill out before he can even hang his jacket. Where were you? Why didn't you tell me? Her voice is sharp, trembling at the same time, a mix of frustration and hurt. Joshua sighs, rubs the back of his neck, and mutters something about work, about running errands. His words are quick, clipped, defensive. He's used to avoiding conflict, and right now, he's practicing full avoidance mode. Elise doesn't get it. She's emotional, needing clarity, needing honesty, but he's offering vagueness and distance. Every explanation he gives, she twists in her mind. Every pause feels like a lie. She throws out the Nat question again, her tone sharper, searching, almost daring him to contradict her assumptions. He denies it, again. His denial is calm, but for Elise, calm isn't convincing, it feels like hiding. Texts replay in her head. His heart emoji from this morning. Casual phrases she now reads as cryptic. The small things that would normally be brushed off now feel like puzzle pieces to a mystery she can't solve. She presses. He retreats. The tension thickens, the room feels smaller, the air heavier with every word neither of them really wants to say. What's striking is how their personalities clash in real time. Joshua's detachment isn't malice, it's his coping mechanism, but to Elise, it's a refusal to engage, a wall she can't scale. She keeps pushing, needing reassurance, needing proof he's not hiding something. He keeps deflecting, hoping the storm passes, thinking time will smooth the edges. But the storm isn't just about time, it's about trust, and trust can't be fast-forwarded. Every sentence he speaks, every explanation he offers, leaves viewers questioning, how honest is Joshua and how much of Elise's worry is justified? The answer is still out there, just beyond reach, keeping tension alive and eyes glued. Joshua shows up with wet hair, a sun-bleached smile, and a surfboard that looks far too big for him, acting like nothing from the morning ever happened. Elise watches him for a moment, unsure if she's supposed to laugh or roll her eyes. He gestures toward the water, excitement radiating as if a simple activity could erase hours of suspicion and emotional exhaustion. They wade in, waves crashing around them, the salt water stinging eyes and hearts alike, and for a brief, shining moment, Elise lets herself breathe. She paddles, she falls, she laughs, a genuine laugh, and Joshua manages a shaky grin, clearly relieved the tension has shifted, even if only temporarily. But underneath the playful splashes and shared smiles, the unspoken questions linger. Did he tell the truth this morning? Is Nat more than a friend? Every wave that lifts them feels like a temporary lift on her anxieties, yet the horizon looms heavy with unresolved issues. Even as she catches a small wave and squeals, part of her mind is calculating, analyzing, remembering his vague explanations and his hearted texts. Joshua tries to make it feel carefree, jokes about wipeouts, offers tips with a casual tone, but his humor doesn't erase the friction from earlier. The contrast is glaring. Fun now, consequences later. Surfing temporarily distracts, gives them a shared memory, but it doesn't repair fractured trust. And viewers can't help but wonder if this brief moment of connection is enough to reset their relationship or just delay the next confrontation. Temporary joy or long-term illusion, can surfing really fix what trust has already cracked? That question hangs over the day like a cloud, and every playful wave is a reminder that deeper issues haven't disappeared. Elise sits across from her parents, hands twisted, voice shaky, trying to put her whirlwind of thoughts into words. She lays out Joshua's morning, how he left without a note, the cryptic texts, the vague explanations about work, and most of all, living with Nat. Her parents listen, nodding, but the tension in the room is palpable. She admits, almost in a whisper, that past heartbreak makes her suspicious, that she's been used before, and the fear of history repeating itself is gnawing at her. Every word carries weight. Every pause is a window into the anxiety that has been building since she arrived. From their side, her parents offer a steady perspective. They gently challenge her assumptions without dismissing her feelings. They point out patterns, how Elise tends to hunt for negatives in relationships when she feels vulnerable, how her past trauma amplifies small uncertainties into crises, and how her gut might not always distinguish between danger and discomfort. But they also acknowledge Joshua's position. He's not perfect, yes, but he's human. He's trying, he's defensive because he feels misunderstood, and he's navigating his own emotional struggles. It's a delicate balance between skepticism and empathy, and Elise is caught in the middle. Her parents urge her to slow down, to observe more and judge less, to give space for truth to emerge rather than projecting fears onto every action. yet part of her rebels. Her instincts scream that something is off, that she can't ignore the inconsistencies, and that trust must be earned. The tension is tangible. Should she follow reason or follow her gut? Each choice carries emotional stakes. Will Elise listen to rational advice, or will suspicion guide her next move? The question hangs, leaving the audience rooting for her, understanding her, and anxiously waiting to see which path she chooses. Before Elise can even catch her breath, her mind drifts back to the heartbreak that changed everything. At 19, she fell deeply in love, gave herself fully, uprooted her life, and dreamed of a future that felt unshakable. Then it all shattered. The person she trusted vanished, leaving grief so raw that even years later, the fear of betrayal lingers like a shadow. Every doubt she feels with Joshua isn't just about him, it's a reflex forged in pain, a defense mechanism she can't switch off. This past pain bleeds into the present. Her questions, her mistrust, the way she spirals over Joshua's ambiguous actions, they all trace back to the insecurity that early loss planted. She craves stability, reassurance, and proof that this won't end like before. Her heightened vigilance isn't paranoia, it's survival. Yet it creates a pressure cooker environment. Small misunderstandings, cryptic messages, or unclear intentions blow up into major crises, exposing how fragile early-stage relationships can be when emotional baggage weighs heavy. Joshua, meanwhile, seems caught in the storm, unaware that his casual detachment is triggering alarms built long before they met. His attempts to give space clash with her need for clarity. Every misstep magnifies tension. Every half answer fuels doubt. The dynamic becomes a pattern. Her anxiety meets his withdrawal. Emotion meets avoidance, and the cycle spins faster. Will Elise's past trauma push Joshua away, or could confronting it together forge a deeper connection? One thing is certain, the next day promises sparks that could either ignite trust or trigger a storm. Joshua isn't some villain in this story, he's carrying weight Elise can't fully see. He's a dad who can't see his son as much as he wants, a job situation hanging by a thread, and a life that's constantly shifting under his feet. These pressures shape his reactions. Avoidance instead of confrontation. Short answers instead of explanations. Quick exits instead of heartfelt talks. His coping strategies might look careless, even cold, but they're his way of keeping afloat when everything feels out of control. Elise, on the other hand, is all feeling and questions. Every silence, every shrug, every text that doesn't match her expectations triggers the alarm bells. Her gut is screaming danger, and her past trauma only sharpens the signal. She's looking for proof, reassurance, and presence, but Joshua's default is to step back, creating friction that neither is equipped to handle gracefully yet. The day stretches on, small annoyances stacking into tension. He tries to explain the work situation, the rushed jobs, the logistics, but she hears it through a lens of suspicion. She wonders if he's using work as an excuse to avoid talking about Nat, his living arrangements, or deeper commitment questions. He's frustrated that his explanations aren't landing, feeling attacked for things he feels aren't even attacks. Can Joshua actually meet her emotional needs while still surviving his own pressures? Their clash isn't about love, it's about timing, communication, and emotional bandwidth. Every step toward closeness seems to stumble against past wounds, fear, and misunderstanding, leaving the audience questioning if the connection can survive this tangled web. Elise's mind keeps running in loops. She's only been in Australia a few days, but already she's questioning everything. Who's paying for what? Whether Joshua is leaning too much on Nat? And whether she's stepping into a situation where she could be taken advantage of. Every small expense, every gesture, suddenly feels loaded with meaning. Her past experiences make her hyper alert. She's learned the hard way that ignoring red flags can cost more than money. It can cost trust, stability, even self-respect. Joshua feels cornered. He's doing his best to explain, insisting he isn't using anyone for money, that he's managing his responsibilities. But his defensiveness only fuels Elise's worry. The harder he tries to reassure her, the more she digs in, scanning for inconsistencies. It's a classic clash. He pulls back, she presses forward. Every text, every tone, every pause becomes a test, and both are losing patience without realizing it. The tension grows sharper when Elise asks pointed questions about Nat, finances, and his future plans. Joshua snaps at times, frustrated that he's being accused repeatedly, while Elise interprets his frustration as evidence of something to hide. The relationship isn't just about affection anymore, it's a negotiation of trust, boundaries, and transparency. Can love survive when suspicion and financial anxiety collide? Each unresolved argument piles onto the last, and it's unclear whether this pressure will forge a stronger bond or fracture what's already fragile. The stakes keep rising, and every small interaction becomes loaded with consequences. The night settles, but peace does not. Joshua and Elise are in separate rooms, the house quiet except for the hum of the air conditioner, yet neither can escape the storm in their minds. Elise lies awake, replaying every interaction from the day. Every word Joshua said, every pause, every excuse, it all twists in her head. Was he really at work, or is there something he's hiding? Her past heartbreak whispers warnings, fueling her anxiety. She wants answers, but she also fears them. Joshua, meanwhile, struggles with his own thoughts. He's exhausted, frustrated, and yet unsettled. He knows Elise is questioning him, and that constant suspicion wears him down. He wonders if giving her space will help, or if it will only push her further away. He turns over memories, trying to balance honesty with self-preservation. Both are trapped in reflection, circling the same questions. Can this relationship survive mistrust? Is love enough to withstand suspicion? As they drift into a restless sleep, the unresolved tension hangs heavy. Tomorrow will bring another day, another chance to rebuild, or another confrontation that could push them over the edge. Both feel it, but neither knows how to break the pattern without risking everything. The night keeps its secrets, leaving viewers on edge, wondering who will give in, who will fight, and whether trust can ever truly be restored. Morning comes, but the air between them is still heavy. Joshua sits down, taking a deep breath, trying to gather the words that might patch the cracks. He explains his side calmly, revisiting his absences, his work obligations, the misunderstandings about Nat. He stresses that nothing happened, that he isn't using her, and that his choices, messy as they sometimes appear, aren't meant to hurt. Elise listens, torn between relief and lingering doubt. Her mind races. Can she believe him this time, or is it just another pause before the next conflict? She tries to respond, her voice steady but cautious. She speaks about her fears, being used, repeating old mistakes, losing herself in someone else's chaos. Joshua nods, accepting the weight of her words. It's a rare moment of connection, quiet and fragile, like ice forming on uncertain ground. They both know trust isn't rebuilt in a single conversation. It takes consistency, honesty, and emotional labor from both sides. The day ends without a clear answer, the relationship hanging in balance. There's relief, yes, but also tension. Will they manage to bridge the gap between fear and faith, or will old patterns win? The camera leaves them with lingering looks, unanswered questions, and an invisible line between hope and heartbreak. Viewers are left waiting, guessing, and anticipating the next twist, knowing this story isn't over and the drama is far from settled.